I'm Michael Sabo, Senior Commodities Broker with RJO Futures, here on the floor of the CME Group, bringing some commentary here in the oil market. So let's get started here. September oil. Let's first kind of do a little bit of a recap here. You know, over the last several weeks here, we really saw, beginning part of July, we really saw crude prices kind of coming up here, moving up about $16 there, topping out at around, near-term top here around 109. Now, we hit that here back here July 19th, and since that time here, you know, look at here, fast forward here to July 30th date here, we've seen crude prices pull back about $6 a barrel. You know, and if we take a look at what some of the news was here over the last several weeks, we've actually been seeing several consecutive drawdown in the stockpiles until we got EIA data out here recently where they were looking for a draw of about 2.25 million barrels. And we actually got a small build in there of about 430,000 barrels. And yet if you take a look at the price action in crude oil here, we've seen crude oil jump up from just below the 103 that we saw here. We saw kind of coming up here towards the 105.5 area. So we're actually seeing crude prices kind of come up here today. And, you know, to put it in perspective, I think you've got several different things that were kind of helping support crude prices here. One, mainly short-term technical indicators. When we were up around that 109, we were in significantly overbought territory. Take a look at some of the prior posts. We were kind of talking about that. And, you know, as the market's kind of come down here over these last week and a half, 2 weeks here, it's kind of brought the short-term technicals really into what I would consider to be more of a neutral area. So no surprise with the recent downward pressure to kind of see this market kind of taking a bounce back up. I still, you know, personally, I believe, you know, you want to focus in on the short side of that oil market. I've got some ideas. If you want to talk, give me a call. Now, we take a look here. We did get GDP second quarter results out there. And, you know, some traders were looking for around 1%, coming in around 1.7 here. So it did kind of get the equities markets going a little bit, and then that kind of eased back off here a little. You know, we also had the release of the Fed notes and minutes there. You know, I don't think anything that really came as a surprise here to most traders. So I think initially here, you know, that oil is just kind of getting a little bit of a short-term technical bounce. Again, I kind of still like the downside in that market. Now, we take a look at you know, the overall total stocks, and this is one of the reasons why I think oil prices are still going to come under some pressure right now. You look at total stocks here right now. We're coming in at around about 364 million barrels here. And to put that in perspective here for this time of year here, if you look at the highest level that we've been, we're only off about 27 million barrels. So, and certainly well below the low that we've seen for this time of the year, which was down around 277 million barrels. So I think really when you look at the oil supplies out there, I think we've got adequate amount of oil out there on the market. Demand still remains very questionable. You look at the economic data here in the States and, you know, it kind of skids along here. You get some good data, you get some bad data, you get some good data, you get some bad data. But the EIA did come out and revise their second half of the year estimates here for oil. Actually starting to see that demand possibly coming down here just a little bit. We know China, you know, you look at the data coming out of there, it appears really to be slowing down, and we know Europe is still a mess there. So you've got a lot of a big question mark on the demand side for the oil. We did see imports here rise slightly, but we also saw refinery capacity utilization drop off about a full percentage point there from last week. They have been moving oil, you know, out of Cushing's, but at the same time, I think that, you know, as long as we don't see any real significant draws in oil, and keep in mind those last big draws that we saw were mainly a result of some pipelines that had opened up and that glut of oil started flowing. As long as we don't see that, I think ultimately crude prices will be coming down, probably targeting around that $100 a barrel, $98 to $100 a barrel area here initially. So, you know, you want to talk about it here, feel free, you know, give me a call, shoot me an email. We've got some strategies on how you can play this oil market. And of course, keep in mind that futures trading does involve a substantial amount of risk. It may not be suitable for all traders. Good luck and good trading.